During the 30s, the annual Bodenstown parades attracted more and more people. Fianna Fáil countered with their own small Bodenstown celebration, and with increased police activity against the IRA, using a newly formed special branch and the Broy Harriers. Both these squads had been stocked by ex-IRA members who joined initially to fight the Blue Shirts, the Irish fascist movement. It was during this period that several leading figures, notably Frank Ryan and George Gilmore, set up the Republican Congress, a broad-based left-wing organization dedicated to radicalizing the people and mounting agitation campaigns. Their verbal attacks on Fianna Fáil went down well, but their criticism of their own IRA leadership did nothing to bridge the gulf between them, and the Congress figures eventually resigned. Many within the Republican movement saw the Congress as just another attempt to set up a political party. The Republican Congress collapsed within a few short years, with many of its ablest members joining the International Brigade and dying in the Spanish Civil War. However, there had been one famous incident at Bodenstown involving the Congress and Protestant Republicans from Belfast. In the outdoor relief riots in Belfast in 1932, Protestants had joined their fellow Irish Catholics in opposing the Stormont government's reduction in the rate of relief, an early form of social security. The government quickly gave in, but unfortunately much of the newfound unity was dissolved by implications, on the one hand by Stormont of a Republican plot, and on the other by the Catholic Church of a communist plot. However, the Republican Congress had organised groups among Protestant workers in the Shankill Road and East Belfast, and many of those marched to Bodenstown on June the 17th, 1934, having first laid a wreath on Connolly's grave in Arbour Hill. The IRA saw the Congress as using the parade as a socialist rather than a nationalist event. An order went out to the Tipperary Brigade to seize the banners, and when the Shankill Road Party refused, scuffles broke out. Looking back, would it not have been better, given that the Protestants were marching, to let the Shankill Road contingent continue?
It was felt by the organisers of the march that the Protestant group were being used by the people who were in the Republican Congress as a challenge to the army leadership.
It was horrible. It was shocking. We started off the day with such great joy and delight, and then after this attack, I suppose you'd have to call it an attack. I hate to use the words because it seems so horrible to talk about an attack on one section of a Republican procession by another section.
The notice has been clearly printed in the press, telling all organisations who wish to participate in the Bodenstown commemoration that no banners were to be carried without the express approval of the Chief Marshal. These banners were found not to have the approval of the Chief Marshal. The Chief Marshal had not been asked his permission for these people to carry the banners. They carried the banners, and they were asked peacefully to remove the banners. They refused, and the North Tipperary Battalion were sent down to remove the banners.
In a sense, we didn't want to talk about it because it was the first time that we had seen this kind of fraternal dispute. For the first time it had ever occurred to us that such a thing could happen in the Republican movement. That was the younger ones of us. The older ones were probably just nodding their heads and saying it's happening again.
That particular group of Protestants from the Shankill Road were members of the IRA prior to that, and were imbued with the feelings of Tone and the aspirations of Tone to achieve a free Ireland. They belonged to Secon of the Belfast Battalion. The Congress, of course, appealed to their socialistic attitudes, and at that particular time there was a fair amount of socialists in the Republican Army, which on the announcement of that the Congress had been set up, there was a split in the Belfast Battalion, in which several members, fairly prominent members and long-standing members, had taken the Congress side. They were dismissed.
Even to people that weren't in favour of Republican Congress, they felt that the fact that Protestants, as Protestants, had come to Bodenstown and had not been welcomed, that was the thing that everyone felt was wrong. I mean, Protestants went to Bodenstown, but we never thought one way or the other, because some members of Commemoration were not Catholic, when you, members of the IRA in Dublin, were mixed between Catholic, Protestant and Jew, never mind the centre.
There was a lot of bitterness because of the attitude of the groups who broke away from the Republican Army. That it was felt that they weren't Republicans, in the sense that they had tried and had succeeded to an extent in splitting the movement in Belfast.
Here were people from Sandy Row in the Shankill coming to Bodenstown, almost, I suppose, they were proud to come as dissenters, doing what Tone had wanted us to do. And there they were being attacked for doing just that thing. It was all wrong. And the shadow of it spread over everybody. And it lasted for a long time.